29 on your Tuesday morning. The three suspects involved in a stolen vehicle investigation that triggered a ripple effect of tragedies within 48 hours were back in court this morning. It's one of our top stories we're following.
Yep, all three have been indicted on charges stemming from that May 1st incident where Cincinnati police located them in a stolen vehicle. Our Taylor Davis joining us now outside the courthouse with everything we know on their current charges.
Inside the courtroom, all three suspects actually appeared virtually while some of their family members sat inside the courtroom. Now, we also learned that all three have decided to plead not guilty. Yesterday, Hamilton County Prosecutor Connie Pillage informed us that 18-year-old Sincere Grisby and Jarrell Austin, along with 19-year-old DeAnthony Bullocks, face multiple charges that include obstructing official business, theft, receiving stolen property, improperly handling firearms in a vehicle, and having weapons while under disability. Now, today, their defense attorneys each argued for a lesser bond, considering what the previous judge in Room A had set. The previous judge set Grisby and Austin's bond at $50,000 straight and had set DeAnthony's bond at $40,000 straight. Today, after Judge Anita Birding heard both defense and prosecuting attorneys, she set all three bonds at $50,000 at 10% with house arrest. Again, now this all stemmed from that May 1st encounter where officers found four suspects in a stolen Kia at an apartment complex. The suspects fled as police approached Ryan Hinton. The fourth suspect, unfortunately, did not make it. Now, right now, we're still awaiting the next court date, but once we get that, you'll, of course, be able to find that on our website and on our app. In downtown Cincinnati, Taylor Davis, Fox 19 Now.
All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. And, prayers and thoughts go out to those three young men, Sincere Grisby, Jarrell Austin, and DeAnthony Bullocks, who were the other individuals. I will not call them suspects, as the news does, to dehumanize them. The individuals who were with our dear deceased brother Ryan Hinton when his life was taken by the cowardly Cincinnati police officer. Now, I've been wondering what has become of these three young men. If I'm not mistaken, two of them were apprehended after, a short search. And one of them was apprehended later. Now, that story was from May the 12th. And so that was their first time, I guess, being arraigned or showing up for a bond hearing. Now, they said that they had set two of their bonds at $50,000 straight and $40,000 straight. Now, if you don't know what that means if they was to post bond, they would have to post the entire $50,000 or $40,000. Now, normally you would have a 10% bond, which she eventually set those bonds for. She each gave them a $50,000 bond, which essentially means that they will have to pay $5,000 to get out. Now, she also placed them on house arrest. Now, you heard the charges that they gave them: obstructing official police business, handling a firearm while, having a disability, receiving or possessing stolen property, and a myriad of other charges. Now, considering that they are the only ones who really know what happened to our dear brother, I think they are very essential pieces to the puzzle. Now, normally in this situation, they will try to muzzle them by incarcerating them or, trying to get them to take a plea in order for the charges to be dropped and then secure their silence in what they saw. But, as you heard from the news reporter, all three have intended to plead not guilty, which I think they should, because once again, they hold the keys to the information of what really happened to our dear brother Ryan Hinton. Now, you heard the coroner come on, yesterday and say that, he was shot in the post-lateral part of the chest, which is basically the back of the shoulder. And he was also shot in the left sternum area under the armpit. So Ryan Hinton was shot from two different directions. And we also, the video footage when he was running through the trash cans, with his back almost towards the officer when the officer started firing. Now, there's no way that officer could have hit him in the right side. And so what's strange to me, because the only footage that they are showing you, the only live footage that they are showing you is the part where Ryan runs through the trash can and the officer starts to fire. Now, they do show the still shots of him laying on the ground and also him falling on the ground. Now, where is the other footage? They keep saying, well, it's only 6 seconds of footage. What happened to the footage before those 6 seconds? Was the officer's cameras turned off during that time and they just turned them on for the final 6 seconds? But most importantly, why we don't see any of those other 3 individuals, young Sincere, Jarrell, and DeAnthony. If the officer, once again, was chasing one of them, that means he had to be chasing and facing him, which in turn, it would show his body camera chasing this individual gentleman. But yet we do not see that. And so that alerts me to believe that, they are once again only showing us part of the story. If 4 guys were in the car, why do we only see Ryan Hinton in the view? Like, there should be, one running this way, one running that way. Where is the entire footage? Sergeant Teague, or whatever they call your name is. But these brothers, I've been wondering what has became of them. They have been, on my heart and in my thoughts, because, they may have seen what really happened. They could be eyewitnesses, and they, of course, the police probably won't interview them or deem their testimony credible, because another article I saw went down the gauntlet, and they're, saying that a couple of them have previous charges. They're talking about, things that they have alleged to have been done, in other situations. So, of course, they're going to use those things to try to discredit them. But no matter what you have done in the past, if you see something wrong, your testimony should be credible. But I would doubt, once again, that they will bring these young men up before the grand jury, like they call the coroner, which has never been done before, or, any other evidentiary body to question them on what happened that day. They say that this shooting is under investigation, but of course we know what that means, that they are all somewhere writing a story, writing a narrative, and contending on how they are going to present this information to the public. We all saw that there was no need for them to shoot Ryan Hinton, and therefore no need for the subsequent event to happen, which they conveniently forget about the shooting of Ryan Hinton and focus on the alleged reaction of Rodney Hinton Jr. So we're going to keep a close eye on these young men's case. These are not very serious charges. So, I would be very skeptical if they receive active time or a large active sentence for these, sentences, but they're also pleading not guilty. And so once again, they have that right. If they were in a stolen car, that does not mean that they possessed it, or either they know that it was stolen. And of course, people have told me that it wasn't stolen. It was just out for repo. Nevertheless, our young brother lost his life, and they have released bits and pieces of a video that only shows him on the ground and shows him getting shot, but it doesn't show any other these 3 men nowhere in the vicinity. And so, it may be a contention, or it may be a theory that all of them had got away. Ryan knew he couldn't get away. He kneeled down, set the gun down on the ground, and then that's when the officers opened fire on him, execution style, which, some people have said that is what happened. So, nevertheless, we're going to keep an eye on these 3 young gentlemen and their cases. If you guys know any one of them, feel free to have them reach out. And, if they are willing or able, if they have not been scared to death or threatened by the Cincinnati police and speaking out, then, please allow them to reach out to me. But, I pray for these young men and their safety, because once again, the police do have a propensity to neutralize people who may or may not go with the narrative they presented. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this situation in the comments. Again, 919-587-7782. Peace and blessings.